So I'm going to take a moment and talk about something that's quite close to a lot of people's hearts, but we don't really want to talk about because we're either afraid to deal with it or we're afraid of the repercussions that might come from us tackling this. And that's our triggers. See, we always see triggers as a reason to run away from what triggers us, to escape the thing that causes it. But if we're really going to move forward in life, we have to tackle those triggers. We can't just escape them. If you think about a video game that you play, you can exit a game, you can exit the level that you're on. But at some point in time, if you really want to keep on moving forward, you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to work through the difficult parts. Now, we're not saying that's easy, and I'm not saying that every single trigger should be dealt with in the exact same way. It isn't that basic. But you need to be able to find a way to handle the triggers that you're dealing with, deal with the source of where you're going to, and even the thoughts as to what's behind that trigger. So I've got 3 suggestions that are probably the best way for you to be able to handle this. Number 1, question the cause of the trigger. So you have to know what's behind your trigger, what's causing it, what's happened to you in your life that has brought you to this point that this thing is triggering you. As I've always said, you only have power in what you know, and you can only defeat what you're aware of. If you don't know yourself well enough to know what caused it, not that there's not a chance of you dealing with that, but it's going to be a much harder journey. And so you've got to start with at least being able to question what caused this trigger in the first place. Number 2, you're going to have to surround yourself with the right people. Dealing with triggers is an incredibly traumatic experience for a lot of people. It's incredibly difficult to go through, especially by yourself. And I don't think I'd even recommend dealing with it by yourself. You will need people around you who are there to support you through this time, who you can be accountable to as to what you're going through, how you're feeling. And that leads to number 3, you're going to have to communicate. And I think a lot of us, usually we consider us talking as communicating, but when I say communicate, you need to be specific about how you're feeling, what you're going through, what this is causing on the inside of you so that other people can help you address those things. You're not going to be able to deal with this by yourself because you're in the middle of it, and that's okay. You're going to need outside help. And so talk to people who can genuinely help you work through this, who are going to stand by you, and who can respond to how you're feeling, who can encourage you when, the going gets tough, essentially. When it feels like there might not be a way out, and it feels like you might be stuck here forever, you won't be, I promise. But you've got to do all of these 3 steps, and most importantly, you have to communicate to the people around you.